In Washington, economic strategy is no longer just about interest rates and deficits. It's a battlefield of ideologies. With President Donald Trump back in power, the Republican budget is quietly rewriting the global investment playbook. At the heart of the storm, Section 808 and 99, a sweeping tax clause that could choke off foreign capital, upend Wall Street, and reshape how the world sees America's financial system. And just as the capital wars escalate, another rift explodes into views. A public clash between Trump and Elon Musk has splintered the MAGA coalition, revealing a fierce fight over immigration, innovation, and fiscal priorities. From budget backrooms to the Oval Office stage, the United States is confronting an internal reckoning with global consequences. I'm Rana Khassas. Welcome to In Focus. The Economics has issued a stark warning, a clause buried deep in the Republican budget bill, Section 899, may do more long-term damage than Trump's tariffs. Dubbed the revenge tax, this measure empowers the Treasury sector to impose escalating taxes, starting at 5% and potentially rising to 20% on foreign investors from countries deemed to have unfair tax systems that could devastate the inflow of capital into American markets, threaten $62 trillion in foreign-held U.S. assets, and trigger retaliation measures abroad. Critics say the move isn't just protectionist, it's reckless. Foreign investors already hold 1/3 of U.S. government debt, and the timing couldn't be worse as America faces a deepening fiscal deficit. Yet for Trump, the bill fits neatly into a strategy of fiscal nationalism. But can the United States afford the wage or a tax war on its own investors? And will Wall Street or the global economy become collateral damage? And dear viewers, we're joined now by Justin Thomas Russell, Executive Director of the Global Foreign Policy Center in Washington, of course, to discuss more about this very controversial issue. And it's always a pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Justin. He's been tracking the Section 880 and 99 controversy closely, and today he's with us in this very special interview and very exclusive interview as well that the first time to discuss on air with him to know more about this. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us today in Focus.
Your Honor.
Sir, Mr. Russell, what is Section 899 at its core, and why is it considered such a radical shift in U.S. tax policy?
Well, it's basically what this is it does away with the incentive of bringing in foreign investors and the U.S. becoming a tax haven for foreign money. We've seen a lot of this in places like Hawaii, where we see a lot of Chinese investment. A lot of your rapidly growing economies in the U.S., like Florida, for example. We see a lot of investment in, prior to COVID, in office buildings in places like New York and Los Angeles. Foreign wealth funds, foreign hedge funds use the U.S. as a tax shelter to hide foreign money. Sometimes it is nefarious. What this is trying to do is trying to get some control over the foreign influence of foreign money coming into the U.S. economy. Trump advisors think that this is something that poses a national security threat. That that could be argued either way, but that's basically what they're trying to do here with this bill.
Sir, what basically are they trying to do with this bill from your own perspective and your own narrative? Specifically, that you're very into 899 and you understand so much about, whereas we don't. So we want to know more about it from you, sir.
So, I mean, I don't want to go too deep into the legal weeds. One, because I'm not an attorney, and two, it's just not good television. But the easiest way to do it is to give an example. If anybody that's been to Hawaii here in the United States, it is a very tourism-based economy. It is a real estate-based economy. Several uh, foreign-based money funds have looked at Hawaii, it's particularly back in the 80s and 90s, as a great spot to park your money for long-term real estate investments. So we saw, back in the 80s and 90s, we saw a lot of Japanese investment, a lot of Japanese tourists spending their money there, and they would buy second homes, third homes, condominiums, and then these banks, these investment funds from Japan would build these large condominiums on Waikiki Beach, and those turned out to be very solid investments with a great return. We're seeing that now with Chinese money. We're seeing that here in the United States in places like Hawaii and Los Angeles, and even in places like Florida, where we see combinations of U.S. and Chinese wealth funds investing in properties in places like Miami, South Florida, et cetera. So that's basically what has happened. And because of that, some economists or some finance experts look at this as saying, hey, what we're going to do, what they're doing is that they could be inflating the market and gaining an artificial control over U.S. money and U.S. real estate and U.S. on the U.S. economy inadvertently, that they could actually possibly just rip the carpet out from under us, and that could be a national security threat. That is happening today with Chinese wealth that are investing a lot in the United States real estate markets, as well as other companies. TikTok is the greatest example. They're trying to keep the influence of Chinese money and the Chinese government out of the U.S. economy and ultimately out of U.S. tech, et cetera. But this is
Mr. Russell,
a money. Yeah.
Mr. Russell, why is Section 899 jeopardizing the American economy or the or anything in America more than the tariffs that Donald Trump decided suddenly to impose on all countries which are related economically or are trading, and of course a trade war that US President Donald Trump decided suddenly to bring out of nowhere?
Serena, that's a great question.
Thank you, sir.
And the funny thing about it is, as close as just a day ago, we saw the Speaker of the House of Representatives trying to explain this this dynamic to the American people. He didn't do a great job, in my opinion, but this is a tough one to explain. When we look at the tariffs come out of the everyday pocketbook of everyday Americans. Tariffs are products. I buy a TV that's manufactured in China. I have a 50-inch screen TV that I paid $250 for. 3 weeks from now, it's now $380. Well, that impacts my pocketbook. I'm not going to buy that TV now. I don't have to. What Section 899 does to avert foreign investment is where that affects it is that affects the long-term economy or economic future of Americans. That could potentially affect their 401ks, their stock investments. That could it could affect the price of their real estate moving forward.
Sir,
It's a
could
lot
it
more new.
upend Wall Street, and could it choke off foreign capital and reshape how the world sees America's financial system on the ground?
Sure, absolutely right. What this does is by choking, the foreign investment doesn't want to put money into the U.S. They don't want to invest in the U.S. As a result, does this keep U.S. money on shore? That's the big question. We don't have an answer for that because some are arguing that if we don't see foreign investment, for example, if we don't see investment from places like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and other Gulf states, if we don't see those investments coming here, that's a big flow of liquid cash that is not directly available. They will go place that in other economies, such as
Okay,
the
this was my
EU.
next question, sir. Do you see
Sure.
this as a general fiscal measure or more of a geopolitical tool designed to retaliate against countries with digital services taxes, sir?
You know what, Raina? I haven't dug that deeply into it because I don't think we're going to find an answer right away. One would say that this is a fiscal tool to protect the U.S. economy from outside influences. That being said, it seems counterintuitive that this administration would put into play, foreign investment restrictions, particularly when we know the strong connection that the Trump family has with foreign investment wealth funds, such as the Saudis, the Emiratis, the Omanis, the Qataris. That type of investment has benefited Trump, and that type of investment has been very beneficial to the U.S. economy. So why would you target and cut your nose off to spite your face those wealth funds that are friendly to the U.S. economy, that don't pose a threat, but start targeting other countries, China, for example, Eastern European nations? Why would you target them and not, in a comprehensive bill? There's not a lot of things that make sense
Sir, I'm
about Section
sir, it's fair
899.
to mention here that I'm always obsessed with your answers and so fond of you as a intellectual person. Sir, some analysts warn of $18 trillion in outflows from U.S. equities. How real, sir, is that risk, and who stands to lose most?
I'm not sure about the exact number. I know that there's been different numbers coming from different sources. Uh, the ones at risk are the American people. The largest risk right now is to the American economy. Anytime Congress or anytime an administration makes knee-jerk reactions, particularly when it comes to fiscal policy that are this drastic and this quick-handed, it puts the American economy at risk and it puts the American people at risk. And that's the big concern I have right now.
Okay, sir, we're gonna, of course, discuss the big concern you have later in more episodes. Could this clause, sir, actually fire back by pushing foreign investors to diversity away from the dollar in U.S. markets entirely?
Sure, absolutely. If I'm the head of a sovereign wealth fund, or if I'm the head of a foreign investment fund, if I'm seeing this kind of hostile pushback from foreign investment into one of the world's largest economy, why would I park my money there? uh, what we're seeing here is very risky, is a very risky business by saying, look, we do want your money, but we're going to make it so restrictive, it may not be the return on investment that you want. Well, if I'm a fund manager, I'm not putting my money there. I'll go look at other areas. I'll go invest it in Canada. I'll go invest it in Europe. I'll go invest it in Southeast Asia, South America, Africa. I don't have to put it in the US if they're going to be this restrictive.
Mr. Russell, how do you assess the entire situation in light of what we have been discussing, sir? Of course, in 10 seconds, because I have to move on to the next segment, which you will be with, which you will still be with us, because we can't get rid, of course, of your amazing intellectual, informative knowledge.
Well, that's very kind, Raina. In 10 seconds, what they're
Only
trying
10
to do
seconds,
is
sir.
they're trying to show that they have control over the economy, a control that they
And do they
really
have
don't
control
need.
over the economy, sir?
I mean that's a much larger than 10-second answer, but yes,
We
they do
can
have
give you
control
more
of the
time.
economy. Well, I mean, look, I mean, do they have control of the economy? Of course they do. Our economy isn't out of control. What it does do, though, is it does put at risk. It does put at risk economic growth and economic development downstream, and that is what is concerning to U.S. economists and global economists worldwide. When you talk about uh, Section 899. Look, the large wealth the large fund managers are today on the Hill lobbying Congress to avert this. And if they're that adamant about it, that should be a wake up call to Congress to say this might not be a good idea. We need to go back to the drawing table.
Justin Thomas Russell, I promise you will always be together, and we're always going to be discussing what exactly Donald Trump is doing and what he is on the verge of doing, of course, to the economics of the United States. And we'll be minute by minute covering, of course, coverage with you and with all the important analysts that have valuable knowledge to continue and know more about where we're going to stand at the end, where the United States is going to stand, of course. Sir, please stay with us, and thank you very much for helping us unpack the financial, legal, and global stakes of the under-the-radar tax revolution. As foreign investors brace for new taxes, another battle is fracturing the Republican right, not over money, but over what defines loyalty to Trump's vision. Elon Musk's rebellion over immigration and spending may have started online, but it's now splitting the MAGA movement into two. The headline may have read Trump versus Musk, but beneath the memes and online jabs lies a deeper ideology rift. According to Politico, the true battle isn't over ego or budget numbers, it's about immigration. Since December, tensions between mega populists like Steve Bannon and immigration hawks like Steve Miller and tech like Elon Musk have simmered over the future of high-skilled immigration. Trump's big, beautiful bill funnels $155 billion into mass deportation efforts, making it a litmus test for loyalty in the MAGA camp. But for the tech elite, the bill is an economic liability and a betrayal of American dynamism. Now, as Trump's GOP hardens around anti-immigration orthodoxy, Silicon Valley faces a choice: stay silent or walk away. And for the first time, we're seeing even Trump's richest allies being pushed out of the fold. Back with us is Justin Thomas Russell, helping us, of course, decode what this means for immigration policy and Republican identity. Welcome, sir, back again, and it's a pleasure to have you again with us in the same episode. Mr. Russell, let's start with the core of the fallout. How did immigration become the flashpoint and Trump's, of course, Musk freed?
Well, I mean, this is something we could see coming from a mile away. The relationship between the world's richest man and the world's arguably the most powerful man in the world, is president. This Elon Musk breakup with Donald Trump has been messy at best, and at worst puts a little bit of a fiscal question into moving forward in the U.S. economy. The immigration question, the relationship between Elon Musk and Donald Trump kind of went south with with the big beautiful bill and Elon Musk's comments about it, and then it just got uglier from there. But we did see overnight, Elon Musk on his X platform tweeted that he thinks maybe he went a little too far with his comments on Donald Trump.
Do you think, sir, genuinely that Elon Musk went beyond comments about Donald Trump? Do you think that after all that was done in, of course, standing back or back to back and having the back of Donald Trump throughout the election and after the election, do you think that he has gone out of proportion with anything that he said or with any of his comments? Or do you think that, from your own perspective, I'm just asking a question, Trump's trust, where does it stand exactly in this context, sir?
Well, Raina, let me go to your first question. Do I think Elon Musk went out of bounds with his comments in the Twitter battle online with Donald Trump? No, I mean, I don't think so. I think where it kind of crossed the line is when Elon Musk started making comments about Donald Trump being in the Epstein files, which, for your viewers who don't know, Jeffrey Epstein was an American financier who was arrested and convicted of inappropriate behavior with young people here in the United States that involved many famous people. The reality is he ended up dying by suicide in a U.S. prison in New York City. There's been speculation, and these unseen books, part of the revelation, include some very powerful people, apparently. Elon Musk made the comment that this included Donald Trump and that he's listed as a regular visitor to Jeffrey Epstein's private island. That being the case, I think Elon Musk was talking out of scope in that instance. However, what he was saying before that about the big beautiful bill, he's not wrong. The big beautiful bill, as Trump loves calling it, is ugly when it comes to raising the debt. It does not cut government. It makes government bigger in some instances. It's going to be an added financial burden. Elon Musk is not wrong. Where Elon Musk has to realize is that his words have impact. What does Donald Trump have that Elon Musk doesn't? Control over contracts with his companies like SpaceX, Starlink, which are now annually about $11 billion worth of money to Elon Musk's companies. That's a big deal. And I think Elon Musk didn't think his way through it. I think he acted emotionally instead of thinking through it. Had he thought through it, he probably would have toned down the rhetoric a little bit.
Mr. Russell, do you think that a businessman like Elon Musk can think emotionally?
I think he can think emotionally.
And where does trust stand here when it comes to Donald Trump?
Well, Raina, let's just get one thing clear. Anybody that has seen or heard Elon Musk, emotional is not a word that you associate with Elon Musk. He is not an emotional basket that you look at. What it is he he thinks as Elon Musk does. When you are the richest man in the world, you think in a way that not everybody thinks like, and he thinks in some instances he's untouchable. His opinion is unwaverable. As we've seen over the past week, that's not true. His words have consequences, and they have consequences
Exactly, sir.
directly on him, and that's a big deal. But do I think he can act emotionally? Again, it's Elon Musk. There's not real emotional component to him.
Sir, before I wrap up, I have to ask you a question that I want to ask
Sure.
you. What's happening in Los Angeles, and of course, everything that's taking place there, is this related to Elon Musk? Some other reasons.
No,
How do you
this
read
has
it?
nothing to do. Yeah, what's happening in Los Angeles and now what we saw last night in Chicago has nothing to do with the rift between
So
Elon
it's
Musk
not
and Donald
related,
Trump.
sir, with a game that's been played.
No, well, look, what this is look, Donald Trump is getting a lot of pressure for his tariffs. He's got a lot of pressure on the economics. There's a lot of pushback on his policies, particularly his tariff policies, as being detrimental. This is a man that ran in 2024 based on his ability to get the economy stronger again, and a lot of his decisions in the first 5 months of his administration have made the U.S. economy weaker, arguably, instead of stronger. He needs a diversion. What this did is this immigration push gave him the diversion he wanted.
Mr.
The
Johnson, is
protests,
Donald Trump facing a difficult phase of his presidency at this point?
absolutely,
Thank you, sir.
absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
don't think anybody's not that.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr. Johnson, Thomas Russell, for your insights and for helping us unpack the deeper layers of America's evolving political and economic identity. And it's always a pleasure to have you with us in every different episode, in every different interview, for your intellectual, of course, and informative knowledge. And from capital walls to ideological firewalls, America's new political economy is anything but predictable. As Trump redraws the rules on money, borders, and loyalty, the question isn't just who wins, but what kind of country emerges on the other side. That wraps up today's episode of In Focus. Until next time, stay with us, for we'll be bringing you more from all around the world in focus.